Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is G, and you are watching All Astrology. This is for Gemini. Gemini, how the heck are you? Hope life is treating you beautifully. Hope all is well. We have an eclipse this month. Yep, we had an eclipse in October, and because they travel together, that means there's a second eclipse. So we're going to look at the astrology for that, for you. I'm going to find out where the eclipse happens in your life, what area of your life, right? Is it going to be work, or is it love, or is it family? Is it goals and ambition? Will it be something just amazing and new? I don't know. Let's look at your astrology and find out. And then we're going to mix up some cards and we'll pull you a card for your eclipse, okay? Then I'm also going to go a little bit further into the month of November, right? Towards the third week of November. And we're going to talk about something new. Something new. Is it something borrowed and something blue? I don't know about all that, but I do know it's new because it will be a new moon energy. So I will give out the degrees and the dates for those of you that are following along at home. If you don't have your own chart, what are you waiting for? So Gemini, this is for you. We come into November. It's a lunar eclipse. When we have lunar, that's important to know, right? Lunar means moon. Yeah. So anytime we're dealing with the moon, this is going to involve emotions and family, feminine energy, possibly the mother wound. And it's in the sign of Taurus. It's like creature comforts. When we think of nurturing, because that's the moon also, well, what do we do for a child, right? We bathe them, we feed them, the creature comforts. We got to make sure that they have their needs met. So we have a full moon, right? This is the blood moon, right? Because every November we have one. Okay, it's not special. But this one happens to be an eclipse. And it's an eclipse because it's near one of the nodes, one of the moon's nodes. Okay. So all we need to know is number one, it's a lunar eclipse, right? The lunar eclipse means it's emotions, possibly family, feminine energy, and it could include a greater family. The greater family is the public. And it can also include the other greater family in your personal life, which would be, of course, your blood relatives. But what about the family members that you've kind of adopted as your family, right? You know, the family that we choose sort of thing in our life, that family as well, your tribe, we'll call them, right? So it can include all of that, and especially feminine individuals. So this could be male or female, but people who exude a lot of nurturing for you, people who somehow present as a mother figure in your life in some way. So it simply could be somebody who gives you food, someone who buys you food, someone who gives you money for food, someone who just is always kind of sort of checking in, right? And if there's ever a need, they kind of are there for that need because it's Taurus energy, and Taurus rules Earth, first of all. So this is a very earthy eclipse we're having. And so that would include the Mother Earth herself, Mother Earth, right? Keyword. And then what about the Mother Earth, right? What about her wonderful natural resources, right? All the beauty that we get from the earth, right? The eye candy, but what about the food? What about the energy? Like the earth is so rich, right? She's just so abundant. And if it's a full moon, right? Blood moon, full moon, lunar eclipse, right? All the same thing. This is a release because it's a lunar eclipse. Yeah, it's a release, but there's good news. Okay, so bear with me while I break this down for you. Now, if it's in Taurus, what I didn't say about Taurus other than the earth, right? It's food, it's creature comforts, it's the material, it's the tangible, it's our income, it's our money. Taurus is typically associated with banking, finances, right? That's Taurus. Fine art, things that are beautiful, things that appeal to you, right? So it literally can be beauty, cosmetics, getting my hair done, getting my hair cut, shopping and clothing, retail. Yeah. Taurus energy for sure. The shopper, the one going out like, let's go for lunch. Then we can go over here and do this. Then we can go over here and do that, right? Taurus is all about kind of sort of connected to some folks' happy place. How many people, when they want to feel good, whether they go out on a shopping spree doesn't matter, but they buy themselves a little something. Maybe it's just for their birthday even, right? There's something about a sense of receiving and reward right, associated with Taurus energy. And maybe reward will be reserved for a different sign. That would be Saturn. And that's also an earth sign, but it's a professional reward. So getting back to Taurus, because I know I can go off on different tangents, it's receiving an income, possibly goods and money. Yeah, but it's also love. Who I love, what I love, and what about self-love? The all most important self-love, right? Super important. I don't think it gets talked about enough, or that it gets talked about enough in a way where if you don't have anything within yourself to give, you can't help others. Your cup has to first be full before you have enough to share, right? And so that's the same way with values and self-worth and love. So this is a big deal because it's a release in all those keywords I just said. So a release in something or someone that we value. So for some folks, maybe they got a bill to pay. Maybe there's, you know what I'm saying? Depending upon where this happens in your chart. So for Geminis, this is happening in a location. It's the 12th house. It's a location that's it's subconscious energy. It's stuff where, it's kind of like, imagine, at the end of the day, you go to sleep. Right. It's sleep, literally. That's what 12th house means, sleep. What happens when you sleep? Well, some of us dream, right? Some of us, we go to sleep and we're just knocked out. We don't know what the hell happens. It's a mystery. Yeah. 12th house is often described as a mystery because it's the house of the non-tangible, which is interesting because they have Taurus in the house of the non-tangible. What does that mean? Non-tangible. Sorry, my hair is driving me crazy. We've got the heat on and it's just like going super dry on me. And it's just irritating the crap out of me. But anyway, so non-tangible, it's the 5D realm. So what does that mean if you have the 3D Taurus? Because Taurus is tangible. It's absolutely something you can see, even though it's also other things. There's a lot of mystery with the sign of Taurus because it's also things you can't see, but it's all the five senses, but more, which is what's really cool about the sign of Taurus. Okay. So think about the five senses: smell, taste, touch. So it's tactile and very sensual, right? So some associate the sign of Taurus and Scorpio, of course, because they're both run along the same line of energy, kind of like as a sexual intimacy, right? That sign, right? Because this is energetic penetration or penetration Scorpio. And then you've got Taurus, which is desire, all about desires. So taste, touch, smell, what I can see and what I can hear. If I tell you, it sounds like a trumpet. If you haven't had a trumpet, if you haven't heard a trumpet, if you don't own a trumpet, if you've never played a trumpet, that's not something I can't hand you the sound of a trumpet, right? So that's that kind of like mysterious part of Taurus energy, right? Where it's not tangible. It's the sound of a trumpet. Well, Taurus, is ruled by Venus. So on a very high level, it can elevate into the Neptune energy. Neptune, which is interesting for you, Gemini, because Neptune rules the 12th house, which is where your Taurus energy is. So the whole point of all that is to say this is not a bad location, right? But what it can mean is, because the 12th house is considered a mystery and is sometimes considered what is hidden, this can mean that your self-love may be hidden. Do you value yourself? And if you do, maybe you don't value yourself enough. There's some of that might be hidden from you. Or maybe you do love yourself, but there might be more things about yourself, more gifts that you have that haven't been revealed to you just yet. Hidden values, like those hidden little gems, those hidden little nuggets. Because let's be clear, Taurus is absolutely going to be all about silver and gold and commodities, right? Material values, but things that are of the earth, hidden values for Gemini. Now, this is an eclipse, so it means it's a release and a let go. But I promised you there was something positive with this. Yeah. Because it's lunar, that makes it the release. But because it's in Taurus and we have the North Node there, it's about your future, the values of your future. What are your current values? Are you releasing basically to make room for what's incoming, right? Your new stuff that's coming in, and it has to do with your future. So there's something about your future. There's something about the value of your future. There's something tied to whether it's your hidden incomes or hidden treasures or hidden values, because it's the 12th house. Something is hidden. All right. Now, I also want to relate to you, Gemini, that when you have Taurus energy in the 12th house, you will likely find many times that whether it's work or a love interest, even because it's Taurus energy and who I desire, what I desire, just be cautious with that, because somebody that we love or that we desire isn't this, desire isn't love, right? That's definitely not love. It takes a lot more to make it work. Um, so don't get them confused. And I say that only because if it's in the hidden and then all of a sudden one day you meet somebody or someone kind of takes you by surprise or you're traveling overseas, that's your 12th house. That's where your values, like this is the sunken treasure type of location, because it's the 12th house is overseas. It's far away from where you live, right? So if you live over here, your 12th house energy is all the way over there across the pond somewhere, right? And that's being a sarcastic across the pond. It's on the other side of the world, right? Is where your values are. Yeah. I kind of like to go deep with folks on their charts because sometimes I think we're so material, tangible, 3D, superficial on the surface with stuff, right? So hidden values. Okay. So the degree of this eclipse is 16 degrees for those of you who are following along. And the reason we give out the degrees is because in your own personal chart, you may have something at those 16 degrees. And if you do, whatever that thing is, like it could be a moon, it could be a sun. You could have your Venus there. You could have your Pluto there. Depending upon the year you were born and the rest of your birth digits. So get them to me if you want to know more. And just know that this is a release with our values. And I will mention here, if you have something in the orb of, let's say, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 degrees, okay? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 degrees, there could be a surprise involved with this. It might be shocking. It could be a surprise. It could be something that just kind of gives you a wake up call where it's just like, whoa, okay, okay, that was kind of, which having your Taurus in your 12th, a wake up might not be a bad thing, because if you're asleep on something, if you're asleep on your values, if your values are hidden from you, right? And this could be your ability to make money, right? It could be your income. So there might be something here where something occurs and it wakes you up, right? It startles you, because those are the keywords for Uranus. Uranus is conjunct this eclipse, which is why it's important for us to kind of have a little bit of a awareness of it in advance, I think, because Uranus energy can be shocking at times. Literally, it's electric for sure. It's like that Nikola Tesla energy, right? Alternative energy. It's the inventor, right? Nikola Tesla, and it's innovation. Innovation. It's doing something outside of the circle, outside of the square, doing something outside, just going hexagonal, like doing something that's a shape like, well, what the hell is that? It's something different. It's something unconventional. Right. So it's a release, but we got a new beginning, a new value, a new income, a new love possibly coming. Okay. So that's the good news. Just think of it as making room for the new. So let me mix these one more time. I'm going to follow what my guidance tells me. So I'm hearing to split the deck. It's been very different for everybody so far. Yeah, it's just been different. So we'll cut the deck like right there. I'm going to take that top, throw it there. They're saying, do you give you card right on top? So we're going to do that. And are you ready? Drum roll, please. Here we go. Wow, and it's a Gemini card. How do you like that? There's going to be news coming, a piece of information, a good piece of information to hold on to file away, and to not lose it. This is Mercury. This is your ruler, Gemini. Yeah, Mercury. What I also love about this is that Venus rules this eclipse that we're having in November. Mercury and Venus are like sisters. They talk, they get along, right? I know Mercury's always talked about as a masculine energy, but as my crew has guided me, Mercury is presenting more feminine qualities because they've been repressed. They've been kind of held back. They've been kind of pushed down and hidden and thrown under the rug and all that good stuff, right? or not so good. And so now we're kind of getting this, feminine, strong energy. Fascinating. There's information and news. Mercury is data. Mercury keeps track of things. Mercury is also the merchant. It's busy. It's busy. And it moves fast. Mercury has wings. You see the wings on the head and the wings on the feet. Mercury's a fast mover and a shaker, right? So it's all about learning. That's why it's collecting the data. It's why it's collecting the information, because it wants to make a choice, a decision, right? But it wants to explore all of its options before it makes a decision. And you have the support. You have the support for November with Mercury, and the fact that this Mercury, your Mercury, gets along with the ruler for this blood moon North Node lunar eclipse. Yeah, that is a mouthful. Everything I've just discussed is everything I just said, meaning that mouthful, I broke it all down for you without it being super confusing. At least I pray to God I did. So you got a Mercury card to support you with this eclipse energy. This means to pay attention to phone calls and emails. Pay attention to those. And what I will add to this is we also have Mars and Mercury, which is why when I flipped this card over, I said, oh, a new beginning. So new communications, new relationships, possibly new coworkers, possibly there's something to do with siblings, neighbors, right? Being just like at the regular food markets, at the grocery stores. Perhaps you have an online market. That is definitely this energy, right? You may have an online store. You may do something with business. Mercury's like a white collar worker. It's talking, it's communication, speeches, blogging, right? That's the writer. Mercury is the scribe. Yeah, tells the story. It's supposed to be the reporter type of energy where it just turns the camera on and you decide. That's really where Mercury expresses in the most clearest, less manipulative way. And I only say it that way just because of the world we're living in now, where anybody can report news, anybody can make up news, anybody can manipulate and twist news and look really professional and sound like they know their stuff, right? And then we're like, okay, is this legit? So when it just simply reports it, when it just turns the camera on without manipulating the circumstances, it's Mercury doing a really good job because it's just collecting the facts. It's not getting too involved. It's being objective. Mercury loves to learn. So just pay attention to your communications, to information, especially if something gets lost. And if you hear or come across information that is surprising or shocking, just take a few breaths, count to 10. Remember, Mars is in Gemini all the way until 2023, right? So if you haven't watched your October video, you might want to go do that. I go kind of deep on the 2023 with Mars for you. That gives you a little bit more information. So this is your card. It's Mercury. It's busy. It's information. And this is for your release, but yet a new beginning. And it has to do with values. It has to do with your values. Things you used to value, you no longer value, and you're making room for the new. All right, now we get to that time where it's the new moon energy. And if you're new here, the reason I talk quite a bit about new moon energies is because things happen when we have new moons. You know, the moon's nodes are super powerful, and new moons are powerful when we have something in our chart that matches the degrees. Yeah. And new moons are a time of beginnings. It's the time when I say, okay, metaphysicians, magicians, Merlins, step up. This is your time to use the power of the universe, because it's a supportive time of a new beginning, because a new moon is when the sun and the moon literally get together. Sun is masculine and the moon is feminine. So what happens when masculine and feminine energies get together? Yeah, right. Pretty easy to make a baby usually, right? Absolutely. So it's a new moon and it's on the 23rd of November. Now, where does this happen for you in your life? I'm going to get to that. I am going to give you a card also at the end of this. So I'm going to keep on shuffling these. I think you're going to like this because it really lines up with what we were just talking about as far as a let go and making room for something new. The new moon happens in your 7th house. Now, What is the seventh house? Your seventh house is your significant one-on-one relationships. It's partnerships. So this can be love, or this can be business, or it could be both, right? Does that mean you're going to meet somebody? You could absolutely meet somebody. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things happening in the month of October. And November does not disappoint either. A lot of things there, a lot of change. So if you're a person who doesn't like change, then, well, you're Gemini ascendant. There's so many other things in your chart. So I can't really say. There's just so many other things I would have to consider, which any good astrologer needs to do, right? Just remember that regardless of who you're listening to, unless you know they're a really good channel, really clear channel. When I say that, I don't mean channel on YouTube. I mean channel, like information that comes through them is legit. It's high, it's up there, and it's unfiltered, and it's not bogged down or colored by their personality, which is why I use the astrology. There's so much out there we can be tuned into, that we can hear. The astral realm is huge, huge and never ending. It's everywhere. For me, the best way to cut through all that is to first use the astrology, right? And so that's what we're doing to stay accurate and to give you the highest and the best. So, seventh house, friendships, but friendships that are way more important than that. These are people you're willing to commit to. These are one-on-one relationships, possibly people you've either known for a long time, likely your soul has history with them. And your seventh house, man, if you have Sagittarius energy, which you do, if you're a Gemini ascendant, Sag on the seventh means like, that's that Jupiter energy. So it's like really expansive, right? So it's like, well, geez, when I think of one-on-one relationships, yeah, I have business partnerships. I have I'm married, right? Or I have people that I talk to that I'm just like really close to. But there's something there where there's just a lot of something, right? A lot of significant one-on-one relationships. So this is a difficult placement sometimes. I got to be honest with you, okay? Because having Sag in the seventh just means like, but I want everyone. I think of that chick in that one Christmas movie who was torn between the role that Bing Crosby played. I think it was Bing Crosby. And then the other character. And she was like, but I love everybody, And I'm not saying that's you, but there's something here where, because it's Sagittarius energy, it's very optimistic. So it sees the good. It sees the good, like in all the experiences and in all the people. It first sees the good, right? Now, it can exaggerate too, right? It can maybe say it has a lot of friends, but not really. So it just depends on a whole other lot of things in your chart. But there's a new beginning in relationships. So whether it's marriage, depends on what you're looking for. Remember, you got free will. So it's up to you. I am hearing to shuffle the deck to go like this. They're saying to do that one more time. And then they're saying cut the deck and then take a card. Okay. Like, this is so weird. I understand it's weird for me because it's very different. I don't normally do it like this, but we're doing as I'm being told. So here we go. Wow. Do you see that? How lovely is this? The cup runneth over. My chalice is full. Look at all the hearts there. Wow. This is so crazy. This is, first of all, I'm really happy to have your second card be something so wonderful, so beautiful, so amazing, right? There's a kingly energy. You see the crown there at the top? So there's kind of got this kingly vibration, right? Now, I will say that because we've got Pisces being shown here and we've got Aquarius energy being shown, these energies are compatible. They get along, all right? Now, the Aquarius energy up in the, I'm not sure what corner you're looking at because I'm looking backwards because I'm doing the whole camera thing. Yeah, it's awkward. That's Aquarius, all right? So that's that very inventive side. That's that friends. That's that big group energy, belonging to groups. What I love is that I didn't say spiritual when I talked about your seventh house, spiritual significant relationships, one-on-one, because Sagittarius is spiritual. It can be religion, but definitely spirituality. It's wisdom. Sag is a whole lot of things. It's a lot. Sag is the seeker. It wants freedom and independence. That's another reason why it's hard to have Sagittarius on the descendant, because it's a placement where we're committing. We're supposed to be that's supposed to be our marriage partner, right? We're supposed to commit to one person. Well, if you have Sag there, whoa, wait a minute. I can think of a lot of people I want to commit to, right? Yeah, it can be really complicated. And this card reminds me of that, reminds us of that because its ruler is Jupiter. Well, the ancient ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. It's also Neptune. I will add, where's my pen? It is also Neptune, which is right there. Okay. So that brings in that spiritual, we are one, that kumbaya energy, the unity, the, you know, we're all related. We're all related. When you look beneath and past the flesh, when you look beyond hereditary, when you look beyond whatever it is that you look at that you have decided separates or divides you from another living being, whether that's two-legged or four-legged. We are all related. Yes. So this cup runneth over, and your friends, right? Spiritual friends, group energy, but they're different. They're unique. They're forms of creating an expression. This is that card. Yeah. The kingly card. See the king at the top? We got a kitty cat coming. So cat card. Interesting. Taffy's trying to get up here and I'm positioned it a little bit differently. So cat card is coming in. So that even possibly, I say card because it's a cat in the room. I associate cats with Virgo energy, which is work, which is habits and routines. But we can't ignore the card, which is friendship. Friends who are I don't want to say important, although I do because it's your seventh house, right? So you maybe have again spiritual friends, but are you the leader of them in some way, or you somehow represent them? Freedom is here again on this card, just like the seventh house I described for Sagittarius, because this Aquarian energy over here is about freedom as well. It's about these are my friends and I'm in this group, but I stick out. Like I'm part of the group, but yet, I'm the squeaky wheel. Did you hear the cat just fall? Yeah. I'm sorry, Taff. Hold on a minute. Um, so you stand out from the group, even though you're within the group, right? So that's why I was asking about possibly the leader of the group, or just the squeaky wheel in the group. Something unique, something inventive. I talked about that in the beginning when I talked about values, right? I did. So this is your seventh house of a new beginning. It looks like you're going to be off to a great start. This also says to have faith. That Pisces energy up there, right? That I pointed to. Pisces, have faith. Don't worry so much, right? There's going to be help and assistance. This is what this card shows you. That's like the angelic realm. Actually, the divine is the Piscean energy. The angelic realm is right here. So this is wonderful assistance that you have. There's bigger things than you happening, whether you want to call out there into the universe, in the ethers, if you're religious, whatever that deity is for you, right? The creator, God, Allah, whatever that is, okay? There's something that's guiding you, that's guiding these transformative times. So remember, relationships, significant one-on-one relationships, a new beginning, and you're supported by the universe. So below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.